workout with you. I was gonna do this on Instagram. I didn't practice and I didn't know that you needed a certain amount of followers. So that's my bad. Hopefully someone can join in live. I know a couple people were planning on being there. If not, it's totally fine. I'm just gonna do it anyways and save this and record it. So no big deal. All right, I'm gonna grab a few pieces of equipment. We're gonna do a full body weighted session today, but have plenty of warm up and prep work. So equipment you'll need are 2 yoga blocks if you have them, a long stretchy band with a thinner resistance. So like this with a long loop, or you can use one with handles, or you can have a TheraBand where it's not actually tied together at the end. It doesn't really matter. And then whatever assortment of dumbbells and kettlebells that you have. We're gonna do, like I said, a lot of prep work. Like normally you might not need this much work, but I wanted to go through some basics, and then we will have an opportunity to add weight. So if you want to do like a light warm-up set and then medium and then heavier weight, just have a variety available if you have the opportunity. So, all right, I'm gonna give another minute. If you don't know me, I love incorporating so many things into my movement. I'm obsessed with movement. I'm obsessed with the fitness side of things, but also the really attuned rehab somatic work that makes all of the strong and powerful stuff possible. I'm also a yoga teacher, so I incorporate breath work and just nervous system work. So hopefully after this workout, you will feel grounded and connected and strong. And I really want to show people that it is possible to move well, to feel good in your body, and the looking good, the building muscle, whatever that goal is for you, that can follow. That comes with time, with trusting your body. So if you just hopped on, grab a couple blocks, grab a band if you have it, long stretchy band with lighter resistance, and then a couple options for dumbbells or kettlebells, whatever you have. Pretty minimal equipment today. And I messed up and I was gonna do this live workout on Instagram, but I didn't have enough followers there, so it wouldn't let me go live there. So I'm live here, and hopefully I can just post it in both places afterwards. But I'm happy you're here. Thank you for being here. I'll give you like 1 more minute and then we'll get moving together. So create some space for yourself. Have a drink of water or tea handy. And then, yeah, if you want to say hello. So I've never done a live in YouTube or Instagram. So I'm going to see if I can access the chat. Listen, I'm not the best with technology. I see hi by Agro. Hello, good morning. Are you going to work out with us today? Hello, Big Flex. All right, here we go. So we're going to do a standing warm up, kind of arrive into our bodies. And then I'm going to close this chat so I don't get distracted. All right, so just come in a stand, feel the weight in your feet, start to swing your arms forward and backwards. Noticing your breath moving in and out of your nose. Maybe take your swings from side to side. If you have a cardio machine, you can do a couple minutes of warm up there. Or if you have a foam roller, you can start foam rolling wherever feels good. Feeling into our bodies today. I know life can be pretty hectic and distracting, so anything you can do to tune your senses into here and now. And then take a little bend of your knees as you swing your arms up and then swing them down and up. So little mini squat here. Big overhead stretch, lean back, interlace your fingers, find some length through your spine. And then we're gonna come down to the ground, grab your couple of yoga blocks and have them nearby. And we're gonna start with a fascia floss for our whole body. So come onto knees and elbows. And we're gonna find some engagement by pulling our elbows back towards our knees. They're not actually gonna move, but we'll find that myofascial tissue engagement on the back of our arms and shoulders into the back body. And then sit your hips back to your heels. Relax the engagement and come forward. And then find that pull of your elbows back as you sit your hips back to your heels. So closing your eyes, tuning in, picturing that webbing of fascia that interweaves through every muscle and bone and tendon, nerve, blood vessel, organ, and it can get really tight like a wetsuit. And we're wanting to find some expansion in our bodies. And you can start to experiment a little bit by walking your elbows over to the left. Draw your right elbow back. Relax to come forward. Find any intuitive movements of your own body. If you want to take a neck stretch, ear to shoulder, over to the left. And then walk your elbows over to the right. Pull back with your left elbow, sit your hips back towards your left heel. Our fascia is also very highly innervated and one of our most proprioceptive organs, meaning it tells us kind of where we are in space. So it's really good to do some fascia work either at the beginning or middle or end of your sessions, just so you're able to better tune in to how you're feeling in your body. All right, come on up, grab your 2 blocks, have them in either hand on the highest setting, and then step your right leg forward into kind of a low lunge shape. So our fascia floss here is going to be digging our right heel down and back as we lengthen the front leg. It doesn't have to go all the way straight. Don't straighten the front knee entirely. Relax to come forward. Feel the hamstring and the calf and the glute on the right side as you sit your hips back towards your left heel. Relax to come forward, and then close your eyes, tune into your own body, see if what takes over, if you want to turn your toes in or out. We want to find that tension. It's like a 30 to 80% tension. I would say more on the 30 to 50% side, especially if we're just doing this for a warm-up. But we want that little tug of tissue from the beginning of the rep through the middle and all the way to the end. And experiment with your toes out for a couple. Good. Step your left foot forward, find a forward fold. Just kind of compare legs, see how you're feeling. Shake out your head, bend your knees, and then swap legs, stepping your right knee back, left foot is forward, and then fascia floss. So we're gonna dig our left heel down and back and lengthen our front leg. Relax to come forward. So our hamstrings are so important to work on. We have a lot of kind of densified tissue here, and this can pull on our pelvis in certain ways, which can then affect our back, our spine, how our rib cage aligns, how our diaphragm functions. So hamstrings are a good one to work on. And a couple with the toes out. Good. Take some breaths if you need it, and finish your last one. Have your blocks nearby. Plant your hands down. Find a tabletop. Ground down through your hands, the tops of your feet. Feel length through your spine, the crown of your head, and opening up back through the sit bones. Breath moving with ease in and out through your nose, or you can sigh it out of your mouth. And a couple rounds of cat-cow. So as you inhale, you can pull your hands back a little bit, drop your belly, lift your tailbone and your gaze up, finding an arch through the spine. Exhale, push the ground away, round through the back body, and curl your tailbone down. Moving with your breath, moving each segment of your spine. And then if any spirals of your rib cage or side bends or twists want to happen, just give your body a moment to be free. and to move where it wants to move. Kind of carving out space through the rib cage and the hips, and then switch directions of your circles if you're spiraling. All right, grab your blocks. And we're gonna have our right knee on the block, still stay in your tabletop. We're gonna do a hip shift. So hands are planted, right knee is on the block. And for this exercise, I want you to make sure that you're not letting your hip hike out to the side, and we're not arching and rounding through the back. So we're just gonna find a slight drop of the left knee down towards the carpet or the mat. And you're thinking about breathing space into the back of your posterior pelvic floor, into your glutes. And then exhale to suction your left hip back up into its socket. So inhale, it's a tiny little movement, tiny little space created on the back of your sacrum, and then exhale to suction back in. So do about 5 or 10. Oftentimes we're really tight in the back of our pelvic floor and glutes, and this really prevents us from finding good form in our hinges and our squats and our lunges. And I like to keep both toes tucked here. All right, switch sides, left knee is on the block. We're doing a little hip shift. So find your tabletop, and then as you inhale, dropping right knee down, opening up through the back of the left glute, breathing space into your butt. 5 or 10. Stay long through your spine and open through your collarbones. One more. All right, we are almost done with our little warm up. Find a wall if you have access to a wall. I'm going to turn here. All right, so come to lay on your back. Knees and hips are bent at 90 degrees. Can't get the angle. There we go. Okay. So from here, I want you to find your tripod foot. That means you want to feel weight in the heel, the big toe mound, and the pinky toe mound of your foot on each side. So find that contact. You can roll up a towel and put it behind your neck if you want some more head support. So first, just feeling the breath moving in through your nose and out with a gentle sigh. Feel those 3 points of contact, and then a gentle drag down with your heels. They're not actually going to slide down the wall, but pretend you could peel the paint off the wall. So that'll engage your hamstrings. That'll find a good alignment of your pelvis and your rib cage. You can have a slight arch in your low back. We naturally have a curve there. Soft, full breath moving in through your nose, filling up the whole expanse of your thorax. So through the belly, the sides of the waist, especially the back of the rib cage, the sides of the rib cage, down to the pelvic floor and up to the chest. And then bring your arms out wide. Stay in that spot. So we're still doing our soft inhales and exhales, a gentle drag of your feet down. This time arms are out to the side. And then at the end of your next exhale, feel a little kick of your deep core, your TA and obliques kick in without your rectus, your six-pack abs, without those taking over. So it's a really gentle ab contraction, hugging sensation at the end of your breath. Hold that tension just slightly to moderately, and then send the next inhale, that pressure up into the front of your chest, front of your shoulders. One more cycle. And then take your time coming up to stand. And let's find our weight in our feet again. Bring your feet a little bit wider. Tripod foot, weight in the big toe, pinky toe, and heel. And then slide your hands down your knees so you're in a hinge pattern. And from here, we want to think about that same breath coming out. And at the end of your exhale, you feel that slight hugging sensation of your core without doing a crunching motion. So it's like you could keep the distance between your ribs and your hips equal, like this the whole time. You could even put your fingers, like your thumbs on your bottom rib cage and your fingers on the top of your hips. Crown of the head is long, and we're breathing into the back of our butt with our inhale. Find that exhale. So we're just holding here. And once you feel like you have a good stack, you can start to create some repetitions with this. So coming up, pushing through the feet, keeping that alignment as you drive your hips forward without overextending the knees and hips, and then come back down. I like to breathe in as I go down and breathe out as I come up, but either way. Just about 5 here, kind of grooving the pattern of our hinge. Good. Grab a lightweight kettlebell or dumbbell if you have it. And we're just gonna do some basic weighted patterns. So grab it with 2 hands, find that stack, find the tripod foot, and then we're gonna do 5 easy deadlifts with a lightweight. So keeping those mechanics that we just connected to. Sending your hips back like someone is karate chopping the front of your hips, and your glutes are moving directly back behind you. Feeling that tension on your hamstrings and pushing through the feet to drive you back up. And then come up to a squat, so you can hold the kettlebell like this, or you can keep it in between, like lower down. Turn your toes out a little bit, whatever distance feels good for your hips. 5 easy squats. Good. Find some support. If you have a bench, great. If you have a chair or a table, whatever. 5 rows with your right arm. So feet are equal distance or stagger stance. Rowing that kettlebell up and down. Feeling your shoulder blade move on the back body. Switch arms. Starting to tune into how your muscles are feeling today. And then eventually we'll do our overhead press. Kettlebell in your right arm or dumbbell, it doesn't really matter. Pressing overhead without letting the low back arch, without flaring the front of the ribs. Keeping that stack. You can rotate the arm. Switch sides. All right, everything is turned on, everything is working. Release your kettlebell. Shake out your body, take a little jump. Another swing of your arms. We're gonna move into a little bit of plyometrics to get some really strong signals from our brain down to our muscles and turn on our central nervous system. So you can either do pogo hops, where you're just pretending like you're jump roping, really springing up through the feet and calves, or you can do jump squats. So 3 sets of about 5 reps. So really explosive, finding some height and springiness. Take a little rest, shake out your legs. Maybe some leg swings. Three to 5 reps. Take a break. Start to feel that blood flowing through your body. Nice and warmed up. Definitely a longer warm up than usual, but all right, one more round. All right, release it out, shake it out. Take a sip of water. We're moving into our main strength circuit with 3 movements. We have an RDL or hinge pattern. We have a single arm bent over row, and we have a dumbbell floor press for chest. But first, we're gonna do one more primer for each pattern. So for our hinge pattern, catch your breath, come into a stagger stance, right foot forward. Feel yourself land, feel a little bounciness through your knees, and then a slight bend in your right knee. Shift your weight over to the midfoot, so not all the weight is in the heel. It's like you could slide a tiny piece of paper underneath your right heel. The right knee stays bent the whole time, and we're gonna round down through our spine. So nice curve through the spine, hands might touch the ground, and then push your feet like you're pressing them in clay as you lift your spine and stack it back up. Right knee is bent, but the hip is extending forward. Okay, so right knee is bent, weight in the midfoot, curl and round down. Push the ground away to stack your body up again. Just 3 more. Hopefully you feel the whole posterior chain working. So calves, hamstrings, glutes, obviously the quad is co-contracting around the knee joint as well, but really feeling that tension move up the back line of the body. And the spine is flexing. Do about 5 on this leg. Really slow with control. I'd rather you do 2 or 3 really good reps than rush through these. And remember that hip is extending at the top, but the knee is staying bent. Okay, shake out that right leg. We're gonna move to the left side. Stagger stance. Bounce in your knees, light posture. Send your weight forward to the midfoot, like you could slide a piece of paper underneath your left heel. And then let your spine arch around as you curl down. All the way down to the ground if you can. And then feel that power coming from the left foot, pushing all the way up. The knee stays bent. You stack the spine and extend your left hip forward. Okay, 5 times, 3 times, whatever you have. And you want to feel this through the calf, the hamstrings, the glutes, the quads, without arching at the low back, flaring the ribs, and hyperextending the knee. I think we got 1 more. Slow breath. Might be a little shaky in the legs. All right, maybe we needed 1 more, I can't remember. All right, we're gonna do our face pull to warm up the muscles on the back of our shoulders and between our shoulder blades. So get your long stretchy band, hook it around a stable surface, and then we're gonna come and sit. So you can sit up onto a block if you need underneath your butt and have the band at the height of your shoulders as you're sitting down. So our knees and thighs are blocking our belly from expanding. So when we do this face pull, I want you to inhale into the back of your rib cage like you have a turtle shell, and that's filling up with air. So as the band pulls you forward, take a big inhale to the back of the body, and then as you exhale, pull your elbows back and the band towards your chest, feeling the muscles on the back of your shoulder working. So inhale, breathe into the back of the rib cage, exhale to do your band pull. Inhale to release, exhale to pull. So we'll do about 20 reps. Do about 10 through the center. And then if you want, we can start to rotate. So pull the left elbow back and gaze behind you, finding rotation through the thoracic or the upper spine. Inhale into the back of the rib cage, exhale, pull your right elbow back, twisting to the right. Three or five on each direction. Again, quality over quantity. If you just do a couple, but really feel that connection, that's better than rushing through the reps. Let's do one more through the center. Release your band. Final prep move, come to a wall or your bench. So this can be done either way. We're gonna be in like a plank position, but with knees slightly bent so that we're not arching through the back. So you can have your elbows on the wall like this or on a bench, okay? And forearms are pressing into the surface. Collarbones are staying nice and long. Chest is lifted still so we're not curling and arching in. And then it's a little press away of your forearms into the wall or the bench. So we're activating our serratus. This is the muscle that runs behind the scapula or shoulder blade across the side of the rib cage towards the front of the body. It's really great for scapular stability, for rib cage alignment, for diaphragm health. So a little press of the surface away and feeling that spreading of your shoulder blades behind you. And then if you're feeling good, you want to do like 5 on each side, you can kind of curl and twist, opposite shoulder towards opposite elbow, and then opening up to the side. And I like to wrap my other hand around the back of my body to the bottom of my shoulder blade to make sure it's not winging, so that I'm really engaging the muscles that I want to be working. Okay, so 3 or 5 on each side, or 5 through the center. And then we'll get to lifting. Take a sip. All right, so we're gonna do 3 sets of our 3 main movements. It's a kettlebell or dumbbell RDL, a bent over row, and a floor press. I love to do 1 light to medium weight kind of warm up set and then 2 working sets. So that's what I'm gonna be teaching, but you can also just stay lightweight the whole time. Or if you wanna push heavy, great, if you're feeling good. So kettlebell RDL. Find your tripod foot, put the weight in between. Okay, we're working with that hinge pattern, with that hip extension that we've been doing with all these drills. So overhand grip of the weight, you can also use a dumbbell obviously, and then pull the weight up by pushing the ground away. Now hips karate chop back, and then the weight is gonna just stop at your mid shin to make this a RDL, and then push your feet down to lift back up, okay? Close your eyes, start to tune into your own body. Use your breath. I like to inhale on the way down and send that breath down to my pelvic floor. And exhale, push the ground away, drive your hips forward, 12 reps. Or whatever you have weight, you know, if you have lightweight, need to do more reps, totally fine, or you can go slower. You can add a pause. If you have heavy weight and need to do 6 to 8 reps, also great. So letting our sit bones open and spread behind us, which we prepped for with our hip shift, is going to let us access our glutes more, get better mind to muscle connection, and build muscle better, and feel more powerful and connected. Let's do 4 more reps. So we're keeping that stack of ribcage and pelvis by using our breath and breathing in to that pressurized system. So the exhale turns on the core at the very end without crunching and overdoing your rectus abdominis. But we create that little pressurized system. Go ahead and rest. And then we breathe into it. So it's like you're expanding a soda can from the inside out. All right, we're resting for 1 minute. And then we're gonna do our single arm bent over row for 15 reps on the first round, and then we'll go up and wait and drop down reps on the next rounds. So something you can get for 15 reps, medium weight. Always feel free to shake it out, to roll on the ground, to take a cat-cow, to take some really mindful breaths. And then when you're ready, 2 feet, either symmetric stance or stagger stance with one leg behind. Your left hand is pushing into the surface, the bench, the chair. You can also do this on the ground in a kickstand row. You can have a yoga block underneath your left hand, whatever you have access to. And then, so that left hand is pushing down, and we're gonna let the dumbbell go, or the kettlebell in the right hand, and then draw your right elbow up towards your right waist. Lower down. So 15 reps, feeling the muscles all around your scapula, your shoulder blades, your back, pulling that weight up, and bring intention to your reps, like you're really trying to pull something out of the ground. Finding that mindful bracing of the rest of the body to create stability while your other arm is working and moving and creating mobility. And I like to rotate a little bit through my shoulder, like letting the dumbbell turn a little bit in on the way down and a little bit out on the way up. All right, let's do 3 more. Biceps are working. Release the dumbbell, shake it out. Give it a wiggle and a breath. Let your muscles actually jiggle on your bones. Release some of that tension. And then right hand plants. Dumbbell is in your left hand. Push down through your feet and your palm. And then your left arm is rowing. Bringing that elbow towards your left waist. 15 reps. Feel your muscles lengthening and contracting. Lengthening through the full range of motion and pulling back up. 4 more. Release down. Take a forward fold, bend your knees. And then we have our warm-up set for our floor press. So grab a moderate weight, 2 dumbbells or kettlebells, 1 in each arm. And what weight am I gonna use? We're gonna do 12 reps, 10 or 12 reps on the first round, and then go up and wait and do 8 reps on the other rounds. So if you know your weight selection and wanna start like pushing earlier on and do 3 working sets, that's totally fine. All right, we've got 12-ish reps. So you're laying on your back, your knees are bent, feet are planted, and then roll, bring the dumbbells with you, elbows out to the side, angled out a little bit, and then pressing up to the sky. And again, I like to bring a little rotation, like dumbbells going up on the way down, and then in and down on the way up. 12 reps. Close your eyes if you'd like. Tune in. Feel how both arms are strong, working equally, pushing that weight away. The rest of your body is stable and grounded, helping you find that pressure, that force production. We got 4 more reps. And last one, stay on the ground when you're done. Release your weights. Maybe the last couple are a little bit difficult. Okay, and then take your knees to your chest. Roll on your back, side to side. Give yourself a little massage. Taking a moment of rest. Releasing that tension. Maybe hands come to your belly. Give it a jiggle to the tops of your legs. Give it a jiggle. We have 2 more rounds, kind of pushing the weight heavier if you'd like, or staying at that same weight. I'm reading the chat. I know there's going to be like weird things in there as well. I'm trying to scroll through if there's any questions. Thank you to the kind comments. I also do love bench pressing on the bench itself. A lot of times, I mean, I'll alternate, but people with hypermobility really benefit from having that grounded contact and more points of contact on the ground to give their body more stability. So sometimes, especially for women, it can be helpful just to feel more secure and stable in their bodies. But yes, I can bench 150, which I think is pretty great. Four or 5 bench. I work out, I lift like twice a week, do cardio twice a week, do mobility and yoga twice a week. I like to swim, I like to hike, trail run. I do like to do Pilates. I don't go to like any formal classes, but just kind of incorporate it into my routine. But yeah, I like to lift 2 or 3 times a week. Okay, going for a second round. We're gonna go up in weight a little bit. So I'm gonna do 10 reps of my higher weight. If you wanna make this more difficult, then I'm gonna elevate my feet. Only if you have full range of motion here. I'm gonna put them on my blocks. And that's just gonna give me more tension on my hamstrings. If you feel yourself really compensating with the low back, take the elevated surface out of it. But find your tripod foot again, find that stack of rib cage over pelvis, and then we're going for, let's say about 10 reps or 8, okay? So bring the dumbbell or kettlebell up. We're gonna hinge our hips back, stop about mid-shin, feel that tension, and then drive through the feet to lift back up. Keeping that pressurized system. Your deep core is supporting your spine. And we're finding expansion through the rib cage and the pelvic floor with our breath. Obviously, if you're lifting maximum load, you're not gonna focus on your breath like this. It's okay to do Valsalva if you're maxing out. Okay, we got 2 more. Good. Release down, shake it out. Whew, give it a sigh. Make sound if you need. And we've got our bent over row going up in weight. So we're gonna go for 10 to 12 reps. Choose a higher weight if you'd like. Or if you don't have that many weights in your collection, slow down the reps, add a pause at the top or bottom, add a band. There's different ways to progress and add more resistance. I don't know, I drink out of a jar. I don't know, it's glass, it doesn't have plastic in it. I should always do it. Okay. Bent over row. Feet can be symmetric or stagger stance. Feet are pressing down, hand is pressing into the bench. Okay, here we go. Rowing up, elbow towards the side of your waist, controlling the descent. Using the muscles on the back to pull up, controlling the descent. Maybe about 2 seconds up. Brief pause, 2 seconds down. Going for 10 to 12. All right, 3 more reps. Try to keep your chest lifted a little bit. Last one. I like to go to the point where the last 2 or 3 reps are pushing it. And maybe I could, rep out 2 more reps if I wanted to, but form is starting to break down. So I like to go to RPE 7 or 8 just at this point in my life. I used to lift heavier and really push every set. I think that's great in certain seasons, but right now I'm not trying to reach any goals. I just want to be fit and healthy. So that's where I'm at. Okay, right hand is on the bench. Left hand grabs the dumbbell or the kettlebell. 10 to 12 reps. 2 count on the way up. Brief pause. 2 count on the way down. I lost track. Keep pushing until you have maybe 2 reps left in the tank. Stopping shy of the point where your form really breaks down. I got 1 more. Release. Give your arms a swing. Come down on the ground. Maybe take a little cat-cow. And then we're going to move into our floor press. I'm going to try to decide if I want to go up in weight. I might push my next set. I'm not going to get as many reps at this weight, but you do you. Try to get about 8 reps on your floor press. If you're choosing a heavier weight, maybe you get 6. Lay on your back. You can do this on the bench as well if you'd like. See, this is the hard part, is getting them up. My wrists are so weak sometimes. There we go. Catch your breath, find your stack, and power up. The floor press also can be healthy if you have instability in your shoulders. It takes away some of that range of motion where your elbows would be dropping back behind you and the front of the shoulder head would be pressing out a little too far. But that's just in some bodies, not necessarily all bodies. 1 more. All right, take a rest, 1.5 minutes. I live in Colorado. Let me know where you're from. Shooting for 4 or 5 bench. That's awesome. All right, we're gonna do our last set. We have our RDLs. Keep that heavier weight if you'd like. Elevate your heels if you'd like. This is our last set. We're gonna do a little bit of accessory and core at the end. Push down through your feet. Find that stack, ribcage over pelvis. We're hinging our hips back, finding that space, opening in the back of the butt, pelvic floor. And here we go. Lift up. Control the weight down to mid-shin. Depends on the length of your legs. And feel your feet pressing you up. Feel that connection through the back of the hamstrings and the glutes instead of just lifting it up with your back. So instead of pulling the weight up, we're pushing the ground away to lift. One more. And add it extra if you'd like. Release down. Give your wrists a little stretch. Pull your fingers back. Rock your weight from foot to foot. Catch your breath. Twist and swing your arms. I like doing these full body circuits. I'm a busy mom. I have a 3-year-old. I work in healthcare. Often my workouts are about 45 minutes. If I really wanted to push my strength and get maximum effort on my weights, then I would do straight sets and rest for 2 to 3 minutes between each set. Totally understand that. That's so fun too. I'm just busy and I'm a mom. And so these full body circuits work really well for me, resting about a minute between each movement and then about 2 minutes between each round. Okay, we have our bent over row and we're going for 10 to 12 reps. Feet are planted, left arm presses into the bench, stay broad across your collarbones, long from the crown of your head down to your butt. And then the right arm is doing your row. Find that little rotation if you'd like, pulling the weight up, right elbow towards your right waist. Two more. Shake it out. Last set on your second side. Right hand plants for support. Bend in your knees. Left arm, 10 to 12 rows. Two more if you have it. Great. Good job. All right, take about 45 seconds to a minute of rest. Then we have our last floor press. Take a little side stretch, a little sway. Rocking your hips side to side. Breath starting to slow a little bit. So this is our last kind of heavy lifting. We're gonna do a little tiny bit of multi-directional lateral lunge, maybe with a band and a little bit of core, and then we'll be done. All right, lay on your back or the bench, whatever you want. We've got about 8 reps, or if you're going heavier, try for 6. Picture both sides of your pecs, pressing that weight up, Notice if you have a side that kind of lags. That's why I like to do dumbbell work more than barbell these days. I still will do some barbell bench press, but it's kind of easy for one side to take over. And this way you're building strength symmetrically, less chance for compensation and injury. Finish up your last rep or two. Whew. All right, good job. Hands on your knees, take a little cat-cow or a pelvic circle, moving through the body, letting that tension go. All right, final couple minutes. Grab your long stretchy band and a yoga block. I genuinely don't care who you are. I really think everyone could benefit from some type of Pilates style movement. You don't have to call it Pilates, but that sense of precision and control and accuracy with your movements, holding time under tension, holding isometric reps where you're just breathing in a position and really owning it with that mobility. All right, lateral lunge. You can do this without the band if you want. I'm gonna step on the band underneath my arch of my right foot and hold on to the tension on either arm. Toes are pointing forward. Don't let them externally rotate too much. You can if you want, but we're kind of missing the internal rotation of the pelvis when you do that. So we're gonna bend into our right knee and hold the weight here. So we're just holding an isometric. Find that stack. Find a little bit of the turn of the left pelvis in towards the right inner thigh. Breathing into the back of your right butt. Good. Now we're going to do 5 reps, pushing your right foot down to straighten the right knee and rebend. 5 or 6 times, really slow with control. Okay, lower down, find that hold again. If you want, you can do a little bicep curl with the band for 5 reps. You don't have to at all. Right glute should be talking, but we're staying calm with our breath. We've got 5 more lunge reps. So pushing the right foot down and rebending the right knee. You can change the amount of slack you have on the band. Last one. Remove the band. Give your legs a wiggle. And then we're going on the other side. So band underneath the arch of your right foot or your left foot. Toes are facing relatively forward, maybe a slight turnout. But we want to be able to bring the right pelvis a little bit in towards the left inner thigh. Okay? So left knee bends. And we're holding for 5 breaths. Staying lifted through our chest, sending the left hip back. Keeping that stack of rib cage and pelvis. And then 5 lunges. Straighten your left knee, push the ground away, and rebend with control. Okay, hold at the bottom. You can stay. You can also not use the band at all, or you can add a few bicep curls. Can everything else stay really still while your elbows are the only thing moving, or your hands? Okay, 5 more reps, pushing the ground away and rebending. 3, 2, and 1. Amazing. Release it. Get down on the ground, take a cat-cow. Maybe puppy pose, stretching your arms forward. And then let's grab our blocks. Place it between your knees. So we're finding a little bit of a squeeze inwards with our inner thighs, our adductors. Turning on the deep core, feeling that pressure management from the bottom up. So from your pelvic floor up through the core to the diaphragm. Okay? From here, we're in our tabletop. Toes can be tucked or untucked. We're gonna take a sit onto our right hip. Okay? Open your left chest up to the sky. Roll back to center, push through your right arm. Left hand lands, and we're sitting onto our left hip. Open your arm up to the sky. So you can stay. This is really healthy for us to be able to interact with the ground and feel that control through functional developmental rolling patterns. You can also, if you're ready, come to a hovering bear. So still squeezing the block, tuck your toes. Find that long spine, and then as you exhale, lift your knees to a hover. And then we can do little dips of the hip, right and left. Using our obliques to hold us in, to rotate us with control, and bring us back to center. So either option, either sitting the hip down, finding something in between, sitting the hip down, gentle squeeze on the block. Let's do 2 more on each side. And release. So ideally, do 1 more round of your lateral lunge and your oblique movement. If you have the time, add that isometric lunge hold in the pulses, and then 1 more round of your oblique work. We're gonna start to cool down now just because it's been like an hour. So let's stand up, bring your feet wide, take a little step from side to side. And then ground down through your feet, take a hinge. So not quite a forward fold. And then stand up, rotate, punch your right arm over to the left, hinge down. On an inhale, as you exhale, drive through the left foot and rotate to the right, punching your left arm over. Inhale to fold, exhale to rotate. 1 more over to the other side. Bring your feet hip width distance, little spinal roll. So starting at the neck and the chin and the head, rolling down your spine, 1 segment at a time. Knees stay micro bent, and then push through your feet to roll back up. Reconnect to your body and your breath. Let it know the hard part is over, starting to cool down. Find some nice intuitive movement and some gentle mobility. Using our breath to move into spaces. Good, come on down, have your block handy if you need. Step your right foot forward, left knee back, hand on your left block. Take a little drag of your right knee back, or right heel back and left knee forward just to stabilize the pelvis, and then twist your right arm open to the sky. You can take big cartwheels with your right arm if you'd like. And then switch arms, switch legs, left foot forward, right hand on your block, left heel and right knee pull towards each other a little bit. And then twist left arm open to the sky. Maybe creating some circles here. Good, come on down, sit on your block. Into a little butterfly pose. We're gonna use our hands on the insides of our knees, and gently, your knees are gonna pull in, but your hands are gonna win. So we're gonna find that fascia floss as we drop our knees down. Relax to bring your knees back to center, and then gentle pull of the knees in, but our hands are gonna win. Prying them apart. Close your eyes, tune into the fascia on the inside of your thighs, your groin, up into the core. And this is our kidney channel. If you are interested in Chinese medicine, this is all about replenishing our energy. So a really great one to cool down with. And then if you want for bonus, place your hands on the outside of your knees, push your knees out with that moderate to gentle resistance, and the hands when pulling them back in. Relax to drop them down, find that engagement, and pulling back in. Just one more. Come to a comfortable seat. Take a breath, notice your body. Close your eyes if you feel comfortable with that. Seal your lips if you feel cooled down enough, and we're gonna breathe in and out through our nose. Not counting at first, just letting that breath move in and out softly. Feeling your whole body gently receive the breath and make space through your belly and your rib cage, your chest, your back body, down to the pelvic floor. And then if it feels comfortable for you, you can start to do a box breath. We'll inhale for 3, hold for 3 at the top of the breath, exhale for 3, and then hold for 3 at the bottom. So as you're ready, empty the air from your lungs, and inhale for 3, 2, 1, hold 3, 2, 1, exhale 3, 2, 1, hold 3, 2, 1. Keep going. Inhale for 3, hold for 3, exhale for 3, and hold for 3. Keep going on your own for a couple more cycles. You can do this on your back if it's more comfortable. Just bringing our nervous system back into a state of balance. Release the count of your breath. Takes 2 more, just slow, steady breaths. You can blink your eyes open, take any final wiggles, intuitive movements that feel good. Hopefully you're able to join along and feel strong and connected in your body. I am gonna see if I'm able to keep this and post it. I have no idea. Like I said, I'm very bad with technology, and this was supposed to be on Instagram, but we rerouted. But thank you for being here. Bye.